What's going on, Illumineers? Welcome back to episode 12 of the Freedom Gaming Podcast. Hope you guys are all having a great day or night, depending on when you guys are listening to us. Quick little three-pack for you as we get ready for the holidays. Just missing out on Joey and Michael, but it's all good. They will definitely be back soon. Kicking us off, per usual, I'm John. Hope you guys are all doing well. Underneath me, we got Brian. Brian, how you doing today?
Fantastic. You said episode 12, 12 days of Christmas, Christmas week. In it to win it, baby. Let's go.
Exactly. Like it's almost like we planned it. And then last but certainly not least, to my right, we got Mike. Mike, how you doing tonight? Looking very festive with those lights.
Yeah, I got my festive Christmas lights on. Yeah, I'm feeling good. Excited to talk about some Lorcana with you too.
Yeah, for sure, definitely. We did take a week off last week, just as a bunch of us we were just traveling and weren't able to find a day. So, but hey, we're here now, ready to go to get you guys all ready for the Christmas holiday. And just any other holidays that you choose to celebrate this week, as we recap some stuff from the past couple weeks, and then looking ahead to some interesting plans we got towards the end of this week. So, starting us off, we had 2 weekends ago, we had the CCS 10K, and I think it was a 2K on Sunday, right? Was the second event?
Yeah, yep, they
Um,
upped both. It was
yep,
8K originally and a 1K, and they upped both because of the
nice.
registrations they had. So
Perfect. So again, like for those of you that don't know, CCS is a store in Georgia, I believe the Atlanta Stone Mountain area. Um,
stunning. Yeah,
yep, and they've run a bunch of like bigger tournaments. I haven't been able to go yet, but Mike and Brian were lucky enough to go to this one, the 10K. Um, so they both had some pretty decent showings. Mike, you were 4-3, right? 4-3
5-3,
or 5-3?
5-3.
Were they 8 rounds or were there seven
Yeah,
rounds?
8 rounds.
Oh yeah, then you were five
So
three.
seven rounds on Saturday and 1 round
Okay, yeah. So Mike was 5-3, and then
Sunday.
Brian was 6-2. Unfortunately,
Six and
just
two.
bubbling out on the top eight or the top 16. Sorry, I think he finished 22nd,
22nd, I
22nd
believe.
somewhere around there. Yep. So we're gonna just go to them, and they can tell you just about their experience with it. So we'll start with you, Mike. Mike, how did you feel about the event? Like, what deck did you play? And would you go back or anything? Or yeah, would you be looking to go back in the future if you can?
Yeah, awesome event. Very well ran at Charlie's. Super happy to be able to get up there and see the venue. I've heard great things about it. So again, just to be able to get there and see it, very well run. I'm pretty much on time a lot of the day. Cranked through a lot of the rounds. It was a little strange to do the 7 rounds on Saturday and then come back for one more round. But I guess it kind of got people back there to be there for the 1K that they started, or
Mhm.
what eventually became a 2K. Was really cool. As far as my performance, I know you're going to throw the deck list up on the screen here,
Mhm.
but I think I was swinging on the low side of variance. You know how it swings back and forth.
Yep.
It was pretty comical how I would say half my matches I didn't see ramp onto, which is pretty brutal for my deck. And I would say 90% of those games that I didn't see ramp onto, I drew it for turn three.
Yep. Always.
So yeah, it was just like one of those days. And one match specifically, I against Red Purple, um, I didn't have a play till turn three, and mulligan six. So and I think I have like 18 different cards I could play between those two turns.
Yep.
Um, it was, yeah, just one of those days. You know, that's how card games are.
Hmm.
I'm kind of hoping that I'm putting my stock in, right? Like I'm putting all the bad juju in, and then in a couple weeks here, it's just gonna swing back, and I'm gonna be hitting everything.
Yep.
That's the way I'm thinking about it. But I'll be honest, my deck list, I really did like this deck list.
Hmm.
Not much I would change at all. I know we were kind of wondering what the meta would look like after the EU Continentals, how that would swing, and obviously we saw Steel Song had an incredible showing. I think
Hmm.
five,
Yep.
five or six of them in the top eight.
Yep.
There was some red blue, but there wasn't as much as I was anticipating. Um, I only played a couple of red purples, which was surprising. Green purple was pretty popular, which I think is why Steel Song did so well.
Hmm.
I played one green purple deck that had Merfolk's, Flynn's, and Prince John's. So that was very hard for my deck to deal with because I don't have any way to move down. I mean, I have Bell on turn
Hmm.
five, but it's too late at that point, and I have to be able to challenge into them and ramp at the same time.
Yep.
So I do think it was one of those unfamiliar matchups, and he ended up getting the victory in a 2-1. But
Hmm.
um, No, I really do like this deck list. I'm still tuning to find the really correct 60 I want to bring for Continentals at this
Hmm.
point, but um, yeah, this list felt really good.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, like I mean, I remember you just telling us just like oh you didn't hit ramp and then like there's difficult matchups and sometimes just the deck just doesn't want to play. We've all
Yeah,
we've all definitely been there. Just even just looking at the list, like it's pretty standard from some of the stuff that we've been talking about and just in testing. I know you've gone back and forth on the library. Went back to the big Mim Dragon, which I know is definitely a pet card of yours. How did those cards feel specifically, or you didn't really see them enough to kind of gauge it?
Library was an overperformer,
Hmm.
for sure. My thought process was I was going to play against a lot of red purple. That's
Hmm.
kind of what I thought the meta was going to shift to. But again, I only got to see two, and one of them was that game that I talked about where I just completely bricked out.
Hmm.
And the other game wasn't the other match I had against another red purple was not close. I 2-0'd. Um, but basically on the play, if you go, turn two ramp into Donald, into Mim Dragon, like they're only on 5 ink.
Hmm.
Outside of Dragonfire, there's nothing they're able to do to stop you from winning that game.
Yep.
So that was kind of my thought process, and it also is pretty good late game against decks like Blue Red, or Ruby Sapphire. It's just Mim Dragon was great. Library, almost every time I played it, it felt really good.
Hmm.
So that's not coming out, and two feels perfect. It's you see it just enough of the time because again, the way this deck plays is you want to at least draw something. I think on turn 3 after
Hmm.
you ramp, whether it's Rabbit, Genie, or putting your one drop in library and popping it, drawing two cards. There's a lot of different options you can take, but again, I just want to be drawing cards on turn 3. Um, yeah, the deck felt good. It sucked because we did a lot of testing outside of the tournament.
Hmm.
We met this awesome group of people from North Carolina, the
Hmm.
Raleigh area. We did some testing in the hotel. That was super cool. They were staying at the same hotel as
Oh,
us,
nice.
and they were just like, "This is I've never struggled into Blurple like this," and tried a bunch of different decks. And I mean, it was like I wish this deck played like this during the tournament, but it's just the way it goes, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not too beat up about it. I don't think I took the wrong deck. I don't think I made the wrong choice.
Hmm.
I can't even really point back at times where I really misplayed.
Hmm.
Outside of that green purple match where it was probably a little unfamiliarity of seeing a Flynn Rider again.
Yep.
Um, I probably shouldn't have ramped. I should have just went wide, and had more cards in hand that way. But again, retrospect, right? Like there's
Hmm.
just a matchup I wasn't expecting to see.
Yep.
But all my opponents played well. I don't want to take anything away from them.
Hmm.
Had a lot of fun, and I would look to doing another one of those in the future
Nice.
for
Very
sure.
cool. Last thing I just noticed, three goats. I didn't even notice that before. How'd that one feel?
Yeah, I've been on three goats for a while,
Oh.
Yeah.
but I
Oof.
think I'm shifting back to four.
I was about to say, I was like,
Um,
the rest of the Amethyst players in the world are gonna get mad at that one.
I mean, there's you really only need to see one late
Yeah.
game,
Hmm.
to where you can bounce it a bunch of times.
That's
Um,
true.
that's where it's the most relevant, and then you're not changing any of the bounce package numbers.
No. Yeah.
I honestly think four crabs is more important than four goats right now.
Yeah,
Um,
that's true. There's a
and
lot of just
and
a lot of interactables and stuff, and like especially like with locations, like you can just like take up basically any location that comes out with a crab dragon, or crab fox.
yeah, just crabbing Diablo into something is so good.
Yep.
It just feels really strong. Um, yeah, I killed the Tamatoa with the Diablo one game. That was pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Uh, I think honestly, again, the 60 isn't 100% there. I don't hate this list at all. Again, I know people are gonna say, yeah, three crabs, three goats. This guy's smoking crack, but no, it's the deck feels pretty strong.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I don't. I think three goats is okay,
Hmm.
but I do think four crabs is probably better.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. Well, again, great performance. I mean, outstanding with the bricks, unfortunately, but you played well per usual. And definitely, I hope next time there's one that all of us can definitely go. That'd be a lot of
Yeah.
fun. And now we'll go to you, Brian, and hear about your experience playing Emerald Amethyst. You know, a deck that you have played pretty much the entire time that you've been playing Lorcana, with the exception of
Yeah.
that Ruby that
Yeah.
Ruby Sapphire sabbatical you took. Uh,
Yeah. There was that too. But before I start talking about gameplay and performance and stuff, the venue itself, man. Again, we never been, but the
Mhm.
venue itself is not like a regular card shop.
Hmm.
It's a massive, almost maybe it was like a warehouse or something.
Yeah.
So it's multiple booths run by a whole bunch of different business owners,
Mm-hmm.
and I ended up like bouncing around booth to booth, talking to a bunch of people. You got comic books, like just solely comic books. You got like
Mm-hmm.
retro games, figures, collectibles, and then obviously the TCGs. Some people specialized in just Pokemon
Mm-hmm.
or Yu-Gi-Oh, whatever. Lorcana obviously was super popular. You had people doing like pack breaks on Whatnot and Drip
Oh.
all throughout. So I kind of just in between rounds or whatever, wandering
Mm-hmm.
around, and I found the Dragon Mim Enchanted for Mikey and
Mm-hmm.
bought it for him for Christmas.
Nice.
Yep.
So
Yep.
jammed that one right there. But it was super cool. I wish I had known, and obviously I should have asked because I would have taken like other cards
Mm-hmm.
to kind of trade and do
Yeah.
whatever. I ended up trading in two enchanteds, picked up like a foil fox,
Oh, nice.
another foil genie, and a third like half shark that I needed. But awesome, dude. Like, there's a lot to do in between. There's a huge like concession stand that we had to have somebody guide us to it because they're like, oh yeah, there's food in the corner, but the place is so big.
Yeah.
So like they took us all the way around,
Jeez.
and they got like all like the foreign snacks and
Oh, damn. That's
um,
awesome.
yeah. Super super massive venue, lots to see, lots
Mm-hmm.
to do. I just wish I had taken
More
more
cards
cards to trade and whatever else. But
for sure.
I definitely recommend anybody who hasn't gone go back. Um, and then performance wise, I'm not mad at myself. 6-2 is pretty decent.
Mm-hmm.
Very good.
Unfortunately, round one, I Mikey mentioning he didn't see a lot of red blue. I saw all the red blue. I think four of my matches, yeah, four were red blue. So,
Mm-hmm.
but right off the rip, playing Jonathan Williams, uh, incredibly talented player.
Mm-hmm.
I ended up losing 1-2. He did win the dice roll, and felt very play draw.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so he beat me both times on the play. I beat him on the play. Um, it just, it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
But didn't deter me. Round two, kept winning all the way, got all my wins all the way up until I think it was round five, where I played another red blue player. Had never heard or seen him before,
Mm-hmm.
Jeremiah, and he ended up taking second uh,
Yep.
on day two. So,
Oh, wow.
congratulations to him. Maui Shark, I did feel that Maui Shark posed a very huge threat to green purple in the sense that like makes you very hesitant to turn sideways because you know they're going to gain some insane value.
Mm-hmm.
I was definitely looking to set up if I had any inkling that they might have had the um, Pirate's Life
Mm-hmm.
card. Try to snipe that with the Ursula or bounce an Ursula, replay it or something.
Mm-hmm.
Because there was one game specifically um, against another player where I was ahead. I think I was at 18 lore, and then he got to play it twice, the Pirate's Life,
Mm-hmm.
and it dropped me all the way back from 18 to 14.
Yeah, that's
And
rough.
and they've already achieved that like 8 to 9 ink for red
Yeah.
blue,
Mm-hmm.
and now you're like the struggle. You're really struggling at that point.
Yep.
And he had a shark out, he had a big Sisu out, and I was just like, all right, well, let's scoop and move on to the next.
Yep.
Ended up winning the best of three, but it was pretty brutal. Played a red purple burn, played a amber steel pirates deck, and I think
Okay.
that was round four.
No, that was the second to last round. I remember because you were playing.
Oh
next
yeah,
to me.
second to last round. And
Yeah.
I was like, damn, he like my
Popped
record
off.
wasn't amazing, but I ended up winning. It was 2-1, but I like
Mm-hmm.
there's the 6-drop Smees from the new set where for every pirate that you have in play it does 1 damage,
Mm-hmm.
and he was just blowing stuff up because he just goes super wide. Do same Amber Steel game plan of just going really wide,
Yep.
and then his draw was either the Rapunzel or he had the Jim Hawkins, the
Dude.
7-cost Jim Hawkins.
This guy.
Yeah, and he just refill his hand again, dude. It
Day of
was
his
like,
life
oh,
he
look at the
had.
top four. Yeah, and then he was also playing the invitation card.
Oh,
Like,
invited to the
Oh,
ball.
invited to the ball.
yeah,
Yep.
invited to the ball, dude.
Look
It was
to
just
grab
like,
to.
yeah, it was a very interesting deck. And then my seventh round was the mirror,
Hmm.
and he won the dice roll. And man, like that first game I felt like it wasn't even close. He blew me out of the water,
Hmm.
and I was like, oh man, is this how it's gonna go? Um, game two, I controlled the board and ended up winning, and then on game three, the kits and the Elsas put in work for me, and I
Hmm.
was able to stabilize. And I remember on the final turn, I had to pass it back. Like there was nothing else I could do,
Hmm.
and he had no cards in hand, and then he had enough to quest to 19. I was like,
Nope.
either you see the goat or the rose. At that
Hmm.
point, I think he had played two roses already. I wasn't sure how many he was on,
Hmm.
and he had inked the goat and played a goat, I think. So I was like, you got it, you got it. I said that and passed the turn
Yeah.
and said, go ahead. But I ended up taking it, and then
Nice.
in the eighth round, played Talisman Purple. He was on Amber Steel,
Hmm.
and honestly, Green Purple felt great into that matchup. Maybe it was the won the dice roll,
Hmm.
but 2-0 and kept it moving. The one cool play I remember doing was against the Maui Shark, and I knew he had it in hand, and then I just played a go go on. I think it was turn four. I played a go go, played the Ursula, saw that he had the shark, played the go go raw, um, and I had the shift Ursula and a crab.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and then I was able to clear his shark that way. But it was awesome, man. I had a lot of fun. Again, as I said, I'd definitely go back. Um, Super well ran. We were done. Uh, my wife came down with me. We
Hmm.
ended up driving from our house in North Carolina, Atlanta, and then from there we all went to Disney. So
Yeah.
it was a really cool trip. But she's like, "Oh, you're gonna be there till 10 p.m., whatever." And we were wrapped up and on the way back to the hotel by I think before 7.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
So
like, feel
Yeah.
like when you guys texted us, you were done. It
yeah, it
was like
was
six
like,
thirty, 7 o'clock. Yeah.
yeah, props to them, and props to the melee gods for not having the website crash.
Yeah, it
But
didn't crash. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, it was ran super well.
Hmm.
Um, they kept it moving, and 7 rounds in I don't know 8 hours,
Not
8
bad.
hours I think.
Not bad.
Yeah, pretty good.
Yep.
Yeah, no complaints. Went back for day two, hung out for a bit, and then ended up leaving. Start that drive to Florida.
For
But
sure. Um, no, yeah, again, great performance. You've played again. This is your deck. This is what you have definitely played here since you've been playing Lorcana. So you played it well per usual. I'd expect nothing less from you. And then just looking at your list though, a couple things. I know one big thing that we've talked about that a lot of people see was that especially is the go-go,
go.
the go-go at 3. And honestly, like you and me have talked about this privately about how like 4 was definitely way too many,
Four was not the answer,
and
man. Like the
3 even feels like
caliber,
too many.
yeah, I think part of it is the mind games you're able to play with Go Go.
Mm,
I think people will make more mistakes or be hesitant to make a play that they normally would,
mm,
just knowing that you play Go Go in your deck. So I think that helped me out. However, the caliber of players that I was running into there, I very few chances. I think there was one or two throughout all 8 rounds where I
mm-hmm.
got to go for any amount of lore.
Yep.
People were very good about keeping damage off their side of the board. That would obviously lead into like some weird trades that they would pull off, especially like red blue, like um, where they could have cleared a rabbit with a Maui that
Mm-hmm.
had 2 damage. They opted to clear the crab instead. So again, playing around the go-go. But I will say when the go-go does go,
When go goes,
man,
go
yeah, when the
goes.
go-go goes, it goes fast.
You heard it here first.
But yeah, 4 go-go's I think is definitely wrong.
Mhm.
I've been testing green steel with 2,
Mhm.
and I think again it's more of the mind games. Like they know that they can't leave damage on their side of the board,
For
and
sure.
you're kind of doing the same thing, especially in the mirror. But and then once you move into, let's say you make it day 2 in a big tournament, open deck lists, them knowing you have go,
Yeah.
that helps
Mhm.
you out too. But bells, I was able to make a few cool plays with the bells. Genie was an all-star, but
Mhm.
definitely I would not go higher than 3 on the go.
Yep.
But I do think you need to run go.
Yeah.
It's like it's a superstar when you do get to use
Oh
it.
yeah.
I think Bell's coming into the same vein as Go now.
Yep.
You're seeing people start to add 3 sometimes, and outside of like steel decks, I don't think that makes sense anymore.
Mhm.
Because once you get up to a certain caliber of player, Belle is just not as good because they can play around it, and
Mhm.
she's so known now. Like I
Yep.
Yep.
remember when no one knew what the card did,
Mhm.
and
Yep.
they'd grab it when you played it. Now it's a known card to be played on 5 to kill Genie for Genie Wars, like you mentioned,
Mhm.
which is still good, but I don't think 3 is the answer anymore because it's people are going to play around it.
Yep. 100%. And then yeah, looking at your list. It looks again like
It's
after
pretty
testing it, it's
standard.
pretty standard.
Nothing crazy. I
Mhm.
threw in the friends on the other side. I wanted the additional card draw.
Mhm.
There's a lot of 3 drops that like the rose or the kits.
Mhm.
Nothing feels better than playing something next turn followed up with a genie plus singing whatever.
Yep.
Um, I have, however, made a few changes. I've been testing with the Mother Knows Best specifically for
Mhm.
the sharks. As I mentioned, sharks posed a bit of a conundrum for me simply because you didn't want to turn sideways and give them all this additional value. Um, and aside from like really being at 8 ink and dropping Elsa with a crab,
Mhm.
unless you're able to, again, like with the big Ursula quest, go crab or something, I didn't have any good answers for the shark or bigger threats like that.
Yep.
Um, Pluto was another one too. Kind of had to do some awkward trades.
Yep.
So Mother Knows Best would clear that up pretty
Yep.
easily, and
Oh yeah.
then you can get in with your foxes, whatever it is.
Mhm.
And again, turn 3, playing kit, bouncing something, and then singing Mother Knows Best and continuing to develop your board with
Mhm.
a rabbit or a genie on 4.
Yep.
Take that every day.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, Kit's definitely. Or no, sorry, Mother Knows Best is definitely huge tempo play. Like that's a huge tempo win too, especially singing with Kit, with Rose, even singing with Crab potentially too.
Yep.
And then seeing the 2 bonsai, I guess that's pretty standard at this point. I love the bonsai personally. I'd play more if I could, but again, like you start getting kind of scary with
Uninkables,
them.
man.
Invinkables, yeah.
Yeah.
But bonsai is definitely a superstar because
I do love the bonsai into the red blue. I think that was a huge help.
mhm,
Um, I do. There is an argument to be made though of like playing a 1 drop on 1 and 2 1 drops on 2 still
mhm,
probably stronger, especially if you're able to get that, like Mikey mentioned, having that Diablo in play and you're holding a crab for turn
mhm.
3. Trading a Diablo with a pumped up Diablo and then drawing a card off of it
Pretty good.
feels good.
Yep,
Feels real good.
definitely real good. Um, but
You
again,
know
yeah.
what's better than that?
Oh
Doing
boy.
it when it's in the library already.
And drawn two.
Dude.
Oh, true.
This guy over here with his crazy blurple plays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, yeah. Congrats to both you guys. You guys both had a great showing. You repped the squad well. Hopefully next time, one of you guys can get into top 8, or maybe I'll go and I'll get into top 8 or something. Who
Yeah.
knows?
That
I
I
do.
think. Oh,
Go ahead.
sorry.
No, go ahead,
Uh,
Brian.
I think if there was any thing that I would change for the tournament, the only thing that I kind of had a disagreement on, I already thought cutting to top 8 was a little rough with
Mm-hmm.
being a 8K, and then once we upped it to
10K.
a 10K,
Yeah.
I think it was 219 players or 221,
Yep.
something like
Something
that.
like that. Yeah.
They ended up cutting to 16 player top 16, but just the prizing for 9th through
Mm-hmm.
16th. I wish they had cut to top 16 and then played it out from there.
Yeah.
And that I think if there was any gripe I had or complaint I had, I wish it would have been like, all right, cut to 16, but everybody plays instead of
Yeah. Just top 8.
payout. Yeah, just top 8.
I was just gonna say that the only thing I would have changed from the weekend is I would have stayed for the 2K for like the next time. I think I would make sure I'm there for the next event just
Yeah,
to get more reps. And like, dude, you get to be in a room of such a high caliber of players.
Mm-hmm.
Like getting that kind of testing is so hard to measure. It's just so valuable.
Yep.
there were a
Um,
lot of big teams, as I mentioned earlier. There was a
yeah,
significant amount of people walking around in jerseys,
Mm-hmm.
full squads coming out, like talking 5, 6, 7 deep. Everybody was in there. It was really cool to see, though.
Yeah, for sure.
And obviously it's a big tournament, 8K
8K to
turn
10K.
10K, but I I guess for some reason I wasn't expecting. I didn't register until the day of
Mm-hmm.
that morning. Uh, so I kind of knew. I was like, oh, we're probably going to be at 100, 150,
Mm-hmm.
but like the numbers jumped, man, overnight. Just boom, 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 boom. It was awesome to see everybody coming out.
Mm-hmm.
And I
And like
think,
yeah, I was saying like Mike was saying, it was definitely was like a who's who of like of the Southeast region. Like you had like good big players. Like I mean, you mentioned you played Jonathan
yeah,
Williams. Obviously Kendall. No, I'm not. Was there. Brian DeCandio was
the
there.
Candio, yep.
So yeah, and then just among others that I know I'm missing. Um, I say He got top 4. So there was a lot of very like a high caliber player
Lamb
there.
Chops, yeah, Lamb Chops was in
Oh
there.
yeah, Lamb Chop
Mikey,
too.
blasted me, dude. Blasted me.
Yeah.
I feel like that game wasn't even close. And he is the nicest person, dude.
Oh, he's
Like
super
honestly, like
nice.
one
Yeah.
of the nicest people I've
Yep.
ever played against.
I
And just smile on his face, just
mhm.
like, oh, I don't know if I could do it. And there goes my board, like multiple times. You know, it's like,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it was great.
I
It was a fun game, like honestly. And I think one thing to shout out to B20 Lore,
mhm.
because they kind of ran all the stream side of it, and they did a very good job at
Oh
it.
yeah.
I got to listen to some of the stream, both in VODs, and I know they are putting it all to YouTube and stuff,
Mhm.
but on the 2K and some of the 10K after in the VOD. But great job by them. I know they had Kendall sit there and play all of his rounds, which
Mhm.
is so valuable because he is, in my opinion, the best red purple player.
Oh yeah.
So to watch all of his matches is very valuable for anyone that's interested in that deck, and to see how it ticks. So I think that's a super cool idea.
Oh yeah, for sure. And then just briefly just touching on the top 8, it was a very polarizing top 8 in that there were 5 Amber Seals. Technically 3 different styles of Amber Steel. Between you had like the Mine version, which was ultimately won by DeCandio, which is his second time he's won a CCS. Then you had a Mufasa one, which is played by Luna, and then your traditional Steel song. And then there was one of each of the Amethyst Steel, Ruby Amethyst, and then Ruby Sapphire, which was Jeremiah, who Brian was lucky enough to play
yep.
as well. Um, so it's gonna be interesting to see like where this shifts the meta, kind of how you see like the meta like what's the flavor of the flavor of the week essentially. So it was like we saw Amethyst Emerald kind of become popular along with Ruby Amethyst, and then like Steel Song comes back into play, and then like the counter to Steel Song is gonna potentially be that Ruby Sapphire. So like Ruby Sapphire comes to like what does that mean? Like Ruby Amethyst is going to be good. Are we going to see Emerald Steel come back? Are we going to see just more Emerald decks come back now to counter the Ruby Sapphire? So it's going to be interesting. Continental is going
And
to be very interesting.
I know we were talking about it offline. Like it's not as how it was in set 3,
Mhm.
Atlanta specifically. I
Yep.
remember it being very rock paper scissors, right? Like I have this deck. It's very good against these
Mhm.
two other decks, but
Mhm.
bad against these two decks.
Yep.
Whatever it is. In my case, green purple. Any red blue, red purple matchup, I was like, awesome. But now I think it's pretty fair across the
Mhm.
board. Um, Now it's got to win those dice rolls and stay on
Unfortunately.
your toes. Yeah. But I'll take that over. I would rather have the opportunity and it be a closer game, have the opportunity to be able to win all of my matchups based off of my skill versus just like, oh, I can steamroll this deck simply because of the colors and the cards that I'm playing. But with green purple or emerald amethyst, everybody in the 20 Lord Discord after the fact, like, oh, how come it didn't place? It didn't do well. It's the North Americans. Like they don't enjoy playing the deck, whatever it is. I don't think that's necessarily the case. At least, obviously, maybe I'm biased and stuff. It's just, again, personal opinion, but I think EU is significantly more polarizing with their color combinations, and like with red purple always being probably one of the highest played decks, green purple being right up there, and then you have your red purple and stuff, but very little emerald steel versus in the US you have emerald steel, amber steel, whatever. And I don't know, I'm waiting. I'm still waiting for Emerald Amethyst to top a DLC. Hopefully, it's me.
It got
But
second. It already got second. Be quiet.
There was a lot. There was a lot of Emerald Amethyst at that tournament.
According
there
to
was.
according
There
to
was.
Inkdex, according to Inkdex, it was the third most played deck. I don't
Yeah,
know, like
it was.
if that's
It's
yeah.
just like again, but here the amber steel, like it makes it difficult for Emerald Amethyst to shine, and then that it in previous sets, like your Ruby Sapphire used to be the deck you wanted to run into. That's not necessarily the case. I think you're still favored with Emerald Amethyst,
55,
but
45.
yeah, but like it ain't free anymore. And I think that's kind of across the board. The matchups aren't free.
That is true.
Right?
I do think also that Steel Song adaptation, and you saw, I think, what was it, 5 or 6 in the top 8?
5.
John?
Yep.
5.
So what, 4 of them I think were non-traditional.
Yeah.
Steel Song?
You had two steel songs, like two traditional steel songs, and you had 2 on the mine, which was one by DeCandio and then one by Alex, and then you had the Mufasa variant. Yep.
Yeah, so like that Mines version is so good into red blue, and that's why that version became a thing, I think, from DeCandio, because you never want a whole new world red blue deck as an Amber Steel player, because you're just refilling the resources and just not good because they're using it all as ink and getting super ahead. And that version can kind of play low to the ground and still a refill with Doc. Like you saw DeCandio open like double Daisy in one of the games, and like just how does Blue Red ever handle that?
Yep.
So yeah, I don't know. The meta is in a really interesting place right now. Especially like that deck is super polarizing because I do think it helps that specific Ruby Sapphire matchup for it, but I think it makes it struggle into some other decks like Lurple. If I see Doc on Steel Song, like I'm pretty happy for the most part, because that means I'm not going to get Whole New World, and they're not going to go. If they do go wide, they're going to be running out of resources, and I can kind of manage that.
Yep.
So I'm really excited to see how much more this meta changes.
Yep.
But I think it's super unfair. There was some chart that came out, and I don't think it was even accurate. And it was like in the 6th round, I think they put like a bunch of the deck colors of people that were playing. I don't think it was accurate.
Like the top 18 tables or whatever.
Yeah, because I knew of at least 4 green purple players that were in those top 18, and it was not a single green purple was on there. And I think a lot of people were taking that information as, oh, there's no Emerald Amethyst in the top. Like, what are they doing in there? Like, there was a lot of Emerald Amethyst in that room. There was not a lot of Emerald Steel, though. I will say that.
Yeah,
like a shockingly low amount of Emerald Steel.
Walking around, I think I saw like 2 or 3.
According to Inkdex, there was only 8. So I don't know if that's the exact. Again, like I didn't do the math, so I don't know if this is actually all 219 decks. But yeah, but there was only 8 Emerald Steel, and then to counter that, there was 2 Emerald Ruby. So take that with what you will, according to Inkdex.
I did see that guy sat not like perpendicular to me, and he ended up losing, but it was super interesting. He was playing the Diablo Shift line with the Maui Sharks, and it was he I think he took a game, but like pretty
Interesting.
interesting. I don't
Yep.
think it's quite there yet. That color combination needs a little bit more support, but
Yep.
he was at that point. I think it was around 4 or 5. So
Okay.
I think I was 3-1 or 4-1.
excellent.
So
Yeah.
element of surprise maybe.
Yep.
But again, everybody in the 20 lore Discord, everybody overseas, a lot of people were paying attention to the CCS tournament.
Mhm.
I think it is going to influence the LCQ here on the NA side pretty heavily. There is one more big event happening this week, which
Good
we're
segue.
gonna.
Good segue.
Good.
Yep,
Great segue.
bow, 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 bow,
Perfect.
bow.
Perfect segue.
But yeah, there's one more big event which I think kind of funny enough, I guess I don't even know necessarily on purpose, but maybe they did. First big event of the set, and then last big event before NALCQ.
Mhm.
And I
It's
know
push ins, yeah.
a lot of people were paying attention to the Southside Gaming tournament.
Mhm.
There's another one happening this Saturday on the 28th. It'll be linked down below for
Mhm.
anybody who's interested in attending. I think it's $15 this time.
Yep.
Quad case tournament
Mhm.
with the Let It Go, the top 128 Let It Go
Mhm.
promo from the DLCs for first place. So if anybody's interested, will be streamed.
Mhm.
Just so happens that we have somebody on the team being a commentator.
Yep.
Yep.
No babies this time, so I'll be able to commentate.
Baby's born.
The baby is here. So yeah, it's super exciting. I honestly am fainting a little bit because I wish I was playing just a
Mhm.
little bit, just to get that extra testing. Luckily, a lot of the people that play at SSG are my friends, and I can get a lot of testing with them, and they're very,
Mhm.
very good players. I know there's going to be some people coming from out of town that I don't normally get to test with, but I'm excited to see what people bring. Again, I mentioned how exciting the meta is right now.
Mhm.
It's kind of a toss up, but I think Brian is 100% right. This is going to be a highly viewed tournament for NA Continentals to
Yep.
see what the rebuttal is to this resurgence of Steel Song. So I'm excited,
Oh
super
yeah.
excited.
Definitely, yeah. And then a new I guess development is that Peter Raimundo, the Disney
Yep.
illustrator, is actually going to be there. So I think I feel like someone said that everyone that plays is going to get like a signed card or something like that.
Yep.
So
Yep.
that's pretty
Nice.
cool. So if you like signed stuff by the illustrators, Peter Moon is going to be there. So you can go talk about Lilo and Stitch with him. I'm sure he doesn't hear that
Yeah.
all day every day.
Yeah.
No, but in all seriousness, like Southside Gaming, it's a great venue. I haven't been there yet personally, but from what I'm seeing it from you guys going there, so
Yeah.
I'll hopefully be able to go there when I go down in January after Continentals. So I'm looking forward to it for sure. Again,
I always end up coming with some gaps of time in between. So the first time I went, it was just like the one little store, their
mhm.
main store, and then I remember the AC broke.
Yeah.
We're all sweating in there. Everybody's
Oh my
playing.
God.
It was for the six
Oh,
two
the
six
Stitch,
tournament.
the Stitch
Yeah,
Day.
the Stitch tournament, and
Yep.
then pretty huge tournament for free, by the way. But
Mhm.
and then the next time I went back, like they bought the next place over, and now
Mhm.
they bought the next place
Oh my
over.
God.
So they're gonna end up doing they have a huge. If you look at their schedule, dude, it's like they got 4 or 5 tournaments running at
Yeah.
night for different TCGs, and then they're gonna this new space that they just acquired. It has a kitchen. They're gonna start serving like drinks, food, all this stuff.
Nice.
So um,
O2 drunk,
will not.
baby. Let's go.
Yeah. Their location, with most trading cards.
I know, seriously, that is
most,
like such a trading card game thing.
yeah. Again, it's not a complaint, but CCS as well, man. Like, we picked up Dylan on Saturday morning. He's like, originally he was planning on walking from his Airbnb, which is probably like a 10-minute walk tops to
Tops. He was very close to the venue.
yeah, like
Very
10-minute
close.
walk from his Airbnb to the venue. And then I remember Mikey, hey man, you good? He's like, hey, never mind. Can you come pick me up? There was definitely a drive by last night. So, and then as we go pick them up, there's a bunch of like chickens and goats in
Yeah.
the like backed up against the Airbnb. The Airbnb itself, I was like, man, looks kind of sketchy. He's like, oh no, it's super nice inside, just the outside looks.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but yeah, interesting area where these trading card shops typically end up popping up from.
Yep.
Um,
Got to go where you can go, man.
yeah,
Sure.
cheap rent.
Yep.
Yep.
Exactly. So,
Um,
so shout outs to Southside Gaming. Again, if you're in the area, if you're looking to go down, or maybe you might just last minute plan a trip to South Florida for this tournament.
Yep.
Again, $15 can't beat that for a potential chance at a Let It Go. Again, only can get it at a DLC and at Southside Gaming. So, bam,
Yeah.
Yeah.
go and get it. Last bit of stuff I guess we can talk about real briefly was the Lorcana Cross Continental Challenge did finally conclude. I know it felt like it ran on forever. I mean, not that any of us were complaining, because like getting to watch those high quality games at all times were fantastic. Even going back and watching the VODs, like I've gone back and watched like a couple of matches that I even watched prior, just to see if there was any other things that I might have missed before. So we finally do have a winner, and it was Zach Bivens from Team NA in an All NA final. So suck that EU. Playing Amethyst Steel. He beat Zan Syed, DLC winner, who was on a super cool Emerald Steel list with the mines. But again, the Bivens list, pretty standard, honestly, for the most part, when it comes to the Amethyst Steel variant. The one big exclusion that we all noticed was the dock. And then playing 3 of the Bell. So just briefly, I know all of us were just busy today, so we unfortunately haven't got to watch the VOD yet. So we'll definitely go back and watch that for sure. But just looking at the list, anything that anyone likes to say about it?
Yeah, so I think Bell in 3 and Steel is good
Mm-hmm.
because of Smee.
Yep.
You're preloading that damage without even having the challenge,
Mhm.
so it's kind of cute to be able to just throw it at an enemy character.
Mm.
So I think that's a super good play. Yeah, the list looks super good. Bivens is a really good player, and people don't really realize that. I mean, he was on Purple Steel for a while.
Mm-hmm.
I remember like back before Atlanta started, I think he just wanted to play Hercules or something like that. And
Yeah.
he threw Hercules in like a purple steel deck and was just wrecking people.
Mm-hmm.
So not surprised to see him come back to this color combination.
Mm-hmm.
Super, super cool that they let them change some of the deck lists before I think it was the last couple rounds, they let them change the deck list, update them, which awesome to see, because I mean, this meta changes so fast in this game specifically.
Mm-hmm.
For them to have to play decks that they came up with on the day of release, like it's hard, right? Especially for the viewer, and they've done so much to make this a viewer experience. Like letting NA have more players in the finals, not the finals, but in the top 4.
Yep.
Because I know that was kind of fabricated.
Yeah.
Because if they went by standings alone, it would have been like all EU. So thanks to you for that. But we take those freebies, like John said, and then we make it an all NA final. Obviously, Freedom Gaming, we have to rep NA. So, exactly.
Shout out to Luke.
Yeah, it's this deck is awesome. I also really like Zan's deck. His green steel list is scary for me, but it's a very good list. I think it's super strong. Kind of wish he would have waited until after Continentals to bring it out, but hey, it is what it is. It's my demon now to deal with, I guess.
Yeah.
But
Anything you want to add, Brian?
No, man. He's run Calhoun's the 1-drop Maleficent, the 2-quest are pretty interesting. Like just the amount of 1-drops that he has is significant, and then he's one snake, and then the foxes. I don't think anybody ever comes down off of 4 foxes.
No.
Being able to repeatedly play Pete over and over and over again is pretty strong. And 3 bells is Mikey already beat that one to the ground, and then the one of Zeus. Free
Pretty
snipes.
yeah.
Yeah,
Pretty
free
cool.
snipes.
Helps with the genies.
Yeah. Not too much to really comment on. I know, felt like for Zan's kind of saw what AS was doing with the mines and just took the the steel parts of it and
Mhm.
transplanted it over, and it's doing its thing. We'll see. Again, congrats to Zach. Very curious as to how all of this is going to shape
Yeah.
NA, LCQ, and it's, dude. I think it'll be the most fair like major tournament. Obviously, number one,
Mhm.
best of three,
Yep.
not 2 game format anymore
Mhm.
on that Friday, right? So win your dice rolls, get that slightly more favorable matchup, and
Mhm.
See you ramp on
go,
2.
See you ramp
yeah,
on 2. Yep.
go 5-0. Yeah, I was thinking at the CCS tournament, like running into Jonathan. He's already got his invite, so I don't have to worry about running into him again at the LCQ. But
Yep.
if I had run into him at the LCQ round one, that would have been
That would have been
that
your
would have been
day.
it.
You would have been like,
Yeah,
well,
that's my day.
go to Disneyland.
No, yeah, no double pods for us.
Nope. Yeah, it's gonna be
So
interesting. Yep. 32 tournament, 32 separate tournaments are gonna be done at. I guess what, start at 9. So by 3 o'clock, everyone will be done. Three,
yep.
4 o'clock.
So
So it should be fun. Yeah, not sure when our next pod we're gonna be. Or is gonna be just with like New Year's next week, and then hopefully next week we can find some time to get to. We can
hopefully
recap.
there's some news.
Yeah,
Hopefully
exactly. News
there's
on
some
something.
news,
Yeah.
man.
Uh,
Some
maybe we'll get
some
Maybe we'll get
dates for
Stefan on.
Worlds.
Yep. I don't know if we're gonna. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's a little hopeful, buddy. we might get.
Dude,
We might get a
I
set
need some
7.
Worlds dates. I'm starting to get I'm jonesing over here.
Yeah.
Need to figure out this trip to Disney.
For
We
real.
won't get that till probably NA Continentals.
Yeah.
Oh,
Hopefully we get some set
but
7 spoilers. Honestly,
Yeah.
it's kind of.
yeah,
It's almost spoiler season.
I'm more so the dates for Worlds, because if it's not going to be March and Set 7 comes out in March,
Mhm.
are they purposely going to push it to April,
Set.
and then you
I
have
don't
Set
know.
7 legal?
I think.
And
I think.
then
I think they. I think it's gonna be after set 8. Personally, I think it's gonna be the end of
really,
the
you think
summer.
it's going to get that pushed back that far?
Yep. I do.
Damn.
There's no point. No point in releasing 2 sets. That's just me though. That's my tinfoil hat for. That's my tinfoil moment for the for the pod. So then you're
Um,
like, huh? That actually does make
I
sense.
guess
Actually.
I guess that's I was gonna. My next comment was like, where are they gonna get those last? What is it? 4 spots?
It
Yeah,
would
they
be.
just do
Or
another
No,
DLC in Asia and another one in
well, that's what I'm saying. Like,
yeah.
if they push it off that far, then yeah.
Yeah.
But it may. Again, I think we spoke about this last episode, but May was when Atlanta, the
yeah.
first DLC
Mm.
happened. So, are they trying to stick to the same cycle and
Yeah.
resetting, or
It's weird. Yeah, we're in a weird spot being in this. Like I'm with you. Like I kind of just want. I just wish that we. I feel like I wish that we knew, and I feel like they've kind of made it up a little bit
because
with as they've gone along a little bit.
for me, right? Like, you got the initial pamphlet that they put out. Here's all the dates for
Hmm.
all the DLCs, and then Seattle happened, and everybody's like, "All right, like, let's get the next list." I thought it was gonna be a nice little neat organized, like, all right, EU, NA, Worlds. I can start making plans,
Yep.
figure that stuff out, and then they're like, "Don't have these dates for you. We're going to Australia, baby. Let's go."
Aussie, Aussie, Aussie! Oi, oi, oi!
Yeah.
So super interested in who shows up to that one, right? Like, how many people are going to travel? Because
I think tickets were still available last I checked. Honestly. So-
Lorcana just got released for them.
Oh really?
That's
Okay,
the thing I want to know. Like,
Yeah,
is
like,
it set 3?
no,
Because I
no
heard
way,
it may be set
no,
3
no, no,
format.
dude. That'd be nuts.
That's what I
I
heard.
I haven't heard any of that, but
Oh man.
but yeah, they just got everything released over there, so they got to
Yeah.
go through kind of like how Japan is now touching on their
Set
first
1. Yeah.
chapter. I think Australia is on set 2 or 3 or whatever, but I don't
That'd
know
be
if it's
crazy.
like they're just slowly release. It's not. It's obviously not sticking to the same schedule. It's an accelerated release schedule,
Mhm,
but
yeah.
what will be legal? Because I know a big complaint for them was like trying to get any sort of product over there,
Mhm.
um, and how expensive it is, and
Yep.
That's the thing. How
figuring
can
stuff
you
over.
expect them to play a set 6 if they can't get the product?
Yeah.
Bro,
Yeah.
imagine just walking in, people just getting their cards. You're like, here's this solve tier set 3
Yeah,
deck. I'm gonna come in and just plop it down on the table.
it's
I
gonna
think there's
feel
gonna
like
be a lot of tryhards at that event.
I
I
think so
think.
too.
yeah, we're
Yeah.
the top two.
Yeah. Oh,
But that
absolutely.
travel, I looked at the prices. I
I
was
did
like,
too.
ugh, that hurts. But then what really hurt was looking at the time, the flight time.
24-hour flight time.
No chance.
It
No
was
chance.
for me. I think there was like 26. I
Yeah,
was like,
mine was
no
getting
way.
getting there. I looked at it too, and it was like $1,200, and I was like, oh, okay, I definitely can't do that. But I looked at
Yeah,
it was Newark to L.A., L.A. to Sydney, Sydney to Melbourne, and then coming.
dude, that's the other thing, right? It's not even like Sydney. And Melbourne is pretty big
It's a
too,
big city too. Yeah.
but like I'm talking like 3, 4 different flights, no matter how you tried to, unless you were on the West Coast. But dude, you lose a whole day on the front end, a whole day on the back end. Going to Japan 12, 13, 14 hours already felt pretty bad. A 24-hour flight, I'd
Yeah.
be antsy.
Another thing too, I was looking at.
Antsy.
I was looking at it like I was trying to plan like when I would even want to go. Like I would like have to leave on Tuesday to get there on
Uh-huh.
like Thursday night, and it's like, what do you like? Do you just stay awake? Like, what do you do? Are you
Yeah,
just up
there's
for
no
like?
way.
Are you just up for like 48 hours? You're like, all right, time to play some Lorcana.
You have to go for
Welcome,
a month.
yeah,
Yeah,
welcome to the land down under, baby.
yeah, that would be just nutty. It's like, oh damn, I'm playing a kangaroo, bro.
Out here fist fighting wildlife, trying to make it to the venue.
Yeah, exactly. It's like you go outside, it's like 30 snakes just ready to kill you.
Kangaroo snatches your dog. Now you gotta go.
All right,
Staying out in a hut. Staying in a hut.
Yeah,
Put some shrimp on the Barbie.
trip on the Barbie.
we're gonna get a
Go.
lot of hate from the Australians.
No, we definitely are.
Yeah, oh yeah, they're like
Definitely.
freedom gaming is banned in Australia now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, on that note, go watch Bluey, support the Australians, I guess.
Oh my god.
Ah, never mind. I'll say that. I'll tell you the news off stream. But R.I.P. Bluey.
R.I.P. Bluey. Yep, I already know. So sad.
Ah,
All right,
too
well,
sad.
for on that awkward ending to this podcast.
We're gonna be like, what happened to Bluey, bro?
They'll look it up. They can look it up.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Google is free, like I tell my wife. um, for Mike, for Brian, and everyone else, have a great holiday. Hope you guys enjoyed this podcast and this. I don't even know what the ending of this podcast was.
Yeah.
Hope
Merry
you guys
Christmas.
Merry Christmas,
Christmas,
Happy
Happy
Holidays,
holidays.
Happy
Yeah.
New Year's. Peace.
See y'all.